What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another interesting topic to talk about, and this is surrounding updates and DLC in terms of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, as players of this game, we have experienced free updates up until now, with the exception of the Sanrio update, which you had to buy amiibo cards to get all of that juicy content. But for the most part, this game has been 100% free since launch, not including the Nintendo Online, but of course, you pretty much need Nintendo Online to do most features on the Switch and download updates and do the custom designs and things like that. We're talking about actual updates in this game. Now, the idea of paid DLC is actually not just a thought or, a far-fetched idea. This could actually happen, especially because of the player base, and I think that's where it comes from. Last I checked, Animal Crossing was just about at 32 million in sales. The new numbers, I believe, are coming soon, but we can only work off those, and that was as of December, and that's a crazy amount to have less than a year in. That number is probably around like 37, 38 million now. So the fan base is there, the user base is there, and the active user base is extremely high too, because it's only been a year. So it just seems like a business move to kind of take advantage of that and to get more money out of your customers. That's how business works. Of course, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is a different beast in itself. That's the mobile gaming market, and that is, there's plenty of microtransactions in there. We're talking about New Horizons, and these sort of topic videos are to get you guys talking, because I'm just fascinated on what you guys have to say and what the community would perceive as fair or unfair in terms of downloadable content that you have to pay for. So actually what I did over on the community tab, which you guys should definitely check out, think about subscribing, the whole shebang. I asked you guys a specific but open-ended question. And I basically said, would you guys pay $20 to $30 for a paid Animal Crossing expansion? Now, I didn't really say what was in the expansion, just the idea of forking out another $20 to $30 to continue to support this game and possibly get a bigger expansion. And overwhelmingly, 71% of you, and this is over 4,000 votes, 71% of you said, yeah, I would be willing to pay that kind of money if it means getting an expansion. Now, I didn't detail what would be in that expansion, but just the idea of it, I think 71% is pretty substantial, and Nintendo would never come out with a poll like this, but I think it's kind of eye-opening where your community is at this point. We are hungry for new info, and that's not even saying that we haven't been getting updates and items and things like that in this game. I think as a whole, the game has been supported quite well. Some games don't even get one update, and we've gotten a bunch, and they're monthly sometimes. So I think the overall support of Animal Crossing has been pretty good, in all fairness. Now, the idea of a paid DLC, and you might be asking yourself, Pat, why you stop talking? Please stop talking. We're getting everything for free. Why would you even mention a paid option? And I think the main benefit of a paid option is the promise of just an abundance of content. Now, like I said before, we did get a sneak preview of what a paid DLC could look like in the form of Sanrio, and the Sanrio update was fantastic. We had 6 new villagers, a bunch of new items, new clothing, and I really feel like for the price point, and I believe that was $6 US, that was a lot of content. And I feel like the people that were able to get the cards, I think that was the biggest problem, was actually finding the cards. I think once you got the cards, it was great. I never heard one complaint about the price necessarily. So I never really heard any complaints about the price. And honestly, I think the pricing was fair. So just imagine what this team could do if they were able to charge $20 to $30 for a paid expansion. That really excites me. I also think that the timing is kind of perfect for a paid expansion. E3 2021 finally is coming back. That could be a nice stage for Nintendo to kind of showcase what a giant expansion could be for Animal Crossing. A lot of people watch E3. E3 is a giant presentation where all the major video game companies present what they have going on, what new games are coming out, support for older games, and Nintendo has shown that Animal Crossing and Nintendo Directs coexist. And Animal Crossing was just shown in the last Nintendo Direct in the form of a Mario update. And I know that it was Mario themed, so it's more fitting for a Nintendo Direct, but you can't deny that Animal Crossing New Horizons is the biggest game Nintendo has currently. And they love to have a mixture of support for older games as well as new announcements to kind of pad out these big presentations. And what better game than Animal Crossing New Horizons to get that giant paid expansion? Now, I think the next question is what could be in a paid expansion? What separates a May, June, July update, which is free, versus a paid expansion, which is $20 to $30 as used in my example? And I think there's a lot of things that this game could add. Starting off with this area over here, we have the dock. Everyone has a dock on their island. I think this would actually be a really easy way. Lily's in the background, everyone. This would actually be a really easy way for Cap'n to show up, who's a main character, I feel like, in this game, has been in almost every Animal Crossing, I think every Animal Crossing game. That would be an easy addition. I also think because the way this game is structured, different islands would be very easy to implement in terms of DLC. So everyone has a Dodo Seaplane. We have Harv's Island. We have the Mystery Islands. Why not add more islands? I think that's probably the easiest transition. As soon as you download that DLC, you can go to your Dodo Airlines and choose that new island as your new destination. In addition to new islands, whether it be a island akin to City Folk with a lot of NPCs from games past, I could also see items and possibly villagers being added to a paid expansion. The only thing with items is that there's a market in this game. There's a economy in this game where items are constantly traded. You can go on Nookazon, you can trade them to your friends. And I feel like Nintendo wouldn't put a paid expansion where items can be duplicated or traded amongst players without there being a paywall. So, and it's kind of interesting to talk about because the Sanrio update, you can trade items. You can give players the Sanrio items. So one of the ways that they could kind of combat this is to make these items special. So, for example, I'm taking a simple panel that is customized with a custom pattern that I have downloaded. So this light green color opposed to the regular green leaf color, that could be a way for Nintendo to kind of stop the distribution of these items where you make the DLC items a different color leaf and they are unable to be dropped or traded amongst players. I think that would be a really easy transition so that these items have to be obtained by purchasing the DLC. Another addition that would make headlines, it would get people so excited, is if villagers came in the form of DLC. Now, this could actually be in terms of like amiibo cards, which they've done, of course, with Sanrio, but new villagers added into the game's code. So people that have bought the DLC, you have a chance of finding these villagers on hunts. And similar to the Sanrio update, these villagers could be non-tradable, meaning that if they are in boxes in someone else's island and you go there and try to get them, you simply can't. You can still see them and interact with them, but you can't take them home. I think that would be a very simple solution to all this. So untradable, undroppable items, and brand new villagers, because let's face it, villagers are the heart and soul of Animal Crossing, besides the whole design aspect, but new villagers would get people super excited. And then last but not least, of course, you have a ton of NPCs that aren't in this game yet. I could list off a bunch. Copper, Booker, Brewster, we got Digby. The whole Happy Home Academy could be added to this game in the form of DLC, and that would actually work well. Now, the problem with all this, and this is sort of my thoughts on DLC in general, is I think people, when they think of Animal Crossing New Horizons, they think of it as sort of an empty game. And it often gets compared to New Leaf, and honestly, I really don't know why. New Leaf was a great installment in the series, but New Horizons has proven that it's much, much different than New Leaf. It's not the same Animal Crossing anymore. It is a design game with a bunch of different elements. We can terraform our islands. We can go on mystery hunts. I feel like it's a new climate in terms of Animal Crossing. So I think the big debate here, and probably the other 29% that said they wouldn't pay for DLC, is that people think that this game is not complete as it is. So having to fork over another $20, $30 to make this game seem more complete, I don't think a lot of people gel well with that idea. I think if this game was complete already and a DLC came out, it would be a no-brainer. But I just I feel like there's a lot of comparisons made to past games, which is why a lot of the community maybe is done with this game. Maybe doesn't play this game as much, or, you know, talks not as highly about this game when comparing it to other games. I think this is a fantastic game, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people just seem to compare it more than they should. But with all that said, with all that out of the way, this is a game that needs content to survive, to keep its player base going. No matter what, this game will keep on going as long as the next Animal Crossing comes out, similar to New Leaf. But to keep the majority of the community, you need constant updates. And whether that is in the form of a paid DLC or free updates, we just hope more is in store for this game. Now, I do want to end with this. Even though 71% said yes, the other 29% said no. Let me ask you this. If a new update dropped and there was a $30 price tag, how hard would it be for you to not pull the trigger and buy it? Because I know no matter the price, let's face it, I bought a second Switch for a second island. We're going to go headfirst into this update. I just hope it happens. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Definitely a fun topic to think about, and definitely something that could happen. Now, if I'm being 100% honest with you, this is something that I see happening down the line. Something when maybe this game is quote-unquote dead and they need sort of a bigger revival, akin to New Leaf when it came up with the Welcome Amiibo update. Maybe down the line, E3, there is a possibility, but I think it might be too soon. Let me know what you think again in the comments, and I'll speak to you real soon, guys. Peace out.